Hello, everybody. Welcome to Wholehearted Loving. I'm Stephanie.
Hi, I'm Georgianna.
Today we are going to do a body-based self-connection practice, but before we do, we're going to do a body-based self-connection practice.
We're going to swim in it all today.
We are, yeah. Oh, funny, and I just said sync. Do you want to sync us into our bodies before we connect with each other and this podcast?
Let's do that. So let's take a moment to find your anchoring point. Mine will be, I think right now I feel my right foot resting on my left calf. And let's give our hands a squeeze. And then if it feels good, let's connect to a long, slow exhale of the breath. And you can notice whether you like one long, tight squeeze of your hands. I didn't actually really think of that. That's usually not my preferred way. I like little squeezes, like little hand hugs. So choose what feels good.
Yeah, I find I like some movement with these.
Mm-hmm. I do as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. And it's a really simple way that I end every call with a client with something like this. Sometimes we do a longer, bigger body connection practice, and at a minimum, we do this just to feel our bodies again, and it's quick and easy.
So quick. You know, last night I was watching The Matrix Resurrections, and at one point, my darling love Keanu is sitting in his psychiatrist's office, and he's wondering if he's losing his mind, and I noticed him rubbing his fingertips against his knees. I was like, this man is trying to feel his body. He's remembering and connecting with his body right now. And it turns out that is exactly what he was doing. It's quick and easy.
Look at that. Quick and easy.
Mm-hmm.
Ah.
So we're going to do a practice today that I haven't done in this capacity before.
It's a surprise.
Yeah, exciting. And I like the name of it. Gee, I'll let you reveal the title. And I like it's going to be a practice of some sort of reality checking plus gratitude and being expansive across the many parts of ourselves and whatever our life experience is at the moment.
Yes. I really like this practice. I came across it maybe a year ago, and it's called Rose, Rose, Thorn, Bud. And I believe, if I remember correctly, it was during a podcast by Kathy Heller and Neil Pasricha. I can't pronounce his name. I don't know if that's how you say his name. But I like taking cool things that I'm exposed to and bringing the body element into it. So I've sort of made it my own, I guess. And I'm going to let you all experience it. This is one that I've walked a lot of people through, and they've really enjoyed it. So today we get to share it with you. Yeah. So Rose, Rose, Thorn, Bud. I'll walk you through first what each thing stands for. Rose is going to represent something that's going well in your life right now. Thorn is going to represent something that's challenging for you in your life right now. It could be your life, it could be your day, your week. Bud represents something that is emerging. It's just starting. It's just beginning. And I like to think of like something new that's exciting for you, that's starting to shift or change. So I'm going to walk Stephanie through this, walk you through this. And I would encourage you to say the things out loud that come to mind when I offer the prompt. And we're going to add in some body connection as we work through this as well. And then after, we'll chat a little bit about, maybe Steph wants to share how it felt and a little bit on why I love it and why I think it's important and what skills it helps us build for life. So Steffi, The first prompt is a rose in my life right now is.
And remind me, a rose is representing something good?
Yeah, something that's good or going well, you're pleased with.
A rose in my life right now is my relationship to trembly emotions, I'm going to say.
Okay. Now, I'm going to ask you, can you feel your butt on the chair? And can you let your body feel that? Can you connect in your body with the fact that this is a rose? This is something that feels good for you right now. Even if it's just 1%, you notice it in your body. And just give me a sign when you're like, yeah, I feel that. Okay. Now, as you feel that, can you let yourself be and delight in that and just experience it for one full breath?
Feel the happy dance that I get when I eat yummy food.
Nice. Now we're gonna go again because the game or the prompt is rose, rose, thorn, bud. So another rose in my life right now is.
Another rose in my life right now is the work that we're doing together.
Okay. So again, can you give your body a moment to really feel that? Feel that that's a rose in your life right now, and give me a sign when you feel that somewhere in your body. And just for the sake of people who are listening or watching, to get to be maybe even more immersed in this experience, how does your body let you know, Steph, that this is a rose?
When I think about it, I feel an expansive feeling in my chest, like heart.
Mm-hmm.
I feel a smile come to my lips.
Yeah.
And a calm, kind of an opening feeling.
Okay. Nice. And again, can you let yourself enjoy that and be with that sensation or those sensations for a full breath? I love seeing your smile, your gentle smile on your face. So the next one is a thorn in my life right now is, and a thorn representing something that feels challenging or hard.
I feel resistant to moving from rose to thorn, and I notice a blech comes up immediately. A little sneering feeling. Thorn is some challenging interpersonal dynamics.
Okay. And again, can you let your body feel some of that sensation that that's a thorn right now? And just let me know when you feel it.
I feel it.
You feel it. And can you grow that capacity to be with that sensation just for one full inhale and exhale? And then let yourself shake it off if you need to. Just follow your body's impulse for how you want to be with this sensation or how you want to let this sensation pass through you. So I see you using your breath. I see you shaking a little bit, using some tapping. Okay. The next prompt is a bud right now in my life is. So what is something that's emerging? It's starting to take shape or form. It's exciting. It's new. It's moving you in the direction of what you desire.
Yeah, it's our program, but more than our program, it's the impact our program is having and how far reaching it is, and how helpful.
So can you again give your body a moment to feel that experience as a bud, something emerging that you're enjoying? Can you be with that for a full breath? And then either staying there. What's that?
That brings up the trembly emotion feelings that I mentioned at the
Ooh.
beginning of the call.
Yeah. So in a matter of a few minutes and looking at the clock, maybe less than 10, you definitely less than 10, you walked yourself through 4 parts of your life that are all truths and the sensations and the emotions of it. I'm curious, when you're ready, what you want to share about what you noticed.
There's a real difference in, I want to say, access to sensation for each one.
Mm-hmm.
So the rose just felt like there was space for it, and the space felt good and clean and clear and easy, very easy to be with.
Mm-hmm.
The thorn really brought a feeling of like a talon. It felt like there was just this like random talon, very sharp and hard, in that nice clean space.
Mm.
And the bud felt trembly, again is the word I want to use. Like I get so loving and emotional
Mm-hmm.
about helping people, about people feeling supported and loved
Mm-hmm.
and heard and seen. And it feels very big and like
Mm.
exciting, delightful, and also probably brings up sadness and overwhelm at having not experienced that for so long myself, and like this
Mm.
overwhelming joy at being able to share that with the world. Very like
Mm.
trembly and explosive.
Yeah. So it stirs up a lot in a short period of time, and you were able to be with it all, because that was what we were practicing, right? With each one, we didn't just leave it as a cognitive thinking process. I think we do that a lot. Oh, what are you grateful for? What's going well in your life, right? And we'll say it, but we don't even we don't really give ourselves the opportunity to really like make the most of it. Like I always say, the goodness of it gets wasted because we don't let our bodies feel that that's a really good thing in our life right now. And so you got to practice feeling it in your body and noticing how your body gives you that sign that things feel good, this feels good, and you get to experience delight and joy. And so many of us say we want delight and joy in our lives, and we're also terrified of it, and we don't know how to feel it really in our body, and our capacity for how good it can feel is so small, it's so low. And so this is a great way to practice expanding that capacity to be with good things. I think I remember you said to me once, like, how good can you stand it? And it's a really legitimate question, because in our minds we might say, I want really great things in my life, but our bodies might be wired for a different experience.
Mm-hmm. And it's hard to really embody and feel the good things if we're in denial of the bad things too. You know,
Mm-hmm.
feeling a thorn at the same time gives you that contrast and context. It gives you access to feel more of the highs when you're able to be with some of the lows as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's Brene Brown who said something years ago that I read, like, if you numb the pain, you also numb the joy. You just numb everything, right? And what I love about this practice is that it gives space and it teaches us how to hold more than one truth at a time, right? Because there is this good thing that's happening for you right now, and there's a challenging thing happening for you right now. And some of us either lean towards, for our own comfort, lean towards only looking at what's good and bright and shiny. Some of us, out of comfort and familiarity, lean towards what sucks in life right now. And that's what we're fully focused on. And so we're learning to like expand, widen the lens, I always say, to see more of the truth, more of the reality of your actual life, because your life has many more components than just the good or just the challenging.
Yeah.
And it also includes the things that are just starting to begin. They might not, and the bud, you could access bud as something really beautiful. For a lot of people, just beginning a bud feels like, no big deal. That's not a big deal. They wouldn't even call that a bud. They wouldn't call it a win. They wouldn't be able to see that it is a bud, because we want good things have to be like bigger, and so it's a great practice in starting just to see how the beginnings are happening, and to see how it's connected with that path we want to be on to what we desire.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And what else I love about this is you had such an opportunity to like feel sensations attached to each of these truths, each of these realities. And we did it for such a short period of time that's not too overwhelming for the system. It's just a bit. And that's where we practice the skill of being with an emotion, being with a sensation, just for one cycle of breath, and then moving on. And if you have capacity, or if you have desire to be with that emotion or that sensation for a little bit longer, for 2 more breaths, great. And if not, that's okay. And that's how we slowly build that capacity to be with things that feel good and be with things that feel challenging.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, the
that changes
slowing
life.
down is so important. I'm certainly a person who in the past has bypassed feelings, really that move along, okay, what's next kind of energy.
Mm-hmm.
And slowing down, giving attention to these parts of ourselves is, as you say, really tiny, doesn't need to take a lot of time. And it completely changes your state, your perception, your self awareness.
Mm-hmm. The ability to change our state is so powerful. We just had a call today for priming the body for peace, and someone said, it feels so empowering to know that I can change my state, and also that I know how it feels to change my state. Meaning, I can, like Steph, like she brought up a thought and a memory that elicited the experience of something positive and joyful. And then you shifted your state to something that felt more challenging. And then you shifted your state again, right, to something that's emerging, and brought that joy back. And that was in a very short period of time. And also, nothing in your life actually changed. Like no
Mm-hmm.
circumstances in your life changed, yet you were able to shift through a variety of sensations and nervous system states, if you want to call it that.
Mm-hmm. I think I've gotten perhaps unreasonably good at just noticing the things that feel good and really putting my focus on the things that feel good, and sometimes maybe avoiding the things that don't. But in the past, I used to just ruminate completely on the things that weren't feeling good, that were problems, that needed some change that might never happen. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that's so common for us to just spend most of our time and focus and energy regurgitating these negative feelings, negative experiences in our minds.
Mm-hmm. This has been so powerful, like to like witness people have an experience like what you just talked about, and also people who have been afraid to look at the positive, because they're like, well, if I look at just the positive, I won't work as hard, I won't achieve the things, because we've been conditioned to work only when we feel stress and guilt and like a push, you know and to see people celebrate themselves and celebrate what's good about their life, and not need to feel crappy about themselves to think that they're going to achieve things, is awesome. And then I've had, experiences working with people who, yeah, along the whole spectrum, people who only know how to be really hard on themselves. And they're fascinated, because they're like, oh, I can shift out of that fast. And it feels real. Like it doesn't feel like I'm just making this fluffy stuff up. So that feels nice for people. And then that ability, that final ability to see what's emerging, I find connects people with a lot of hope and a lot of reassurance that things will be okay. They see change happening. Like they might not be exactly where they want to be, but they see like things are shifting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the
Mm-hmm.
situation is dynamic.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I want to say one more thing about embracing the things that feel good and the things that don't. I think if we don't give attention to the things that don't feel great, it's almost like we can't believe as much the things that do feel good. I'm thinking about our friend Kara, who the other day said to me, well, I know people like me, and but that's because they don't really know me. If they knew the bad things, then they wouldn't think I was just good. And that's such a key piece of it, you know, to witness people loving the parts of you that you think are not lovable
Mm-hmm.
means that you can actually believe that they love you, you know?
Mm-hmm. Right. So, yeah, this is a practice in making space for your whole experience and not feeling like you have to cut off parts of yourself to be liked. Don't have to cut off parts of yourself to fit in and to not be a burden on people. Right? Imagine if we all went into relationships feeling this confidence that I can talk freely and openly about what's good in my life. I can talk freely and openly about what's challenging. And I can also tell you excitedly about what's starting to shift in my life. And we all felt that comfort in saying, this is me today.
That's how we connect, Think of the joy that you feel when somebody's just open in those ways and how connected you feel like you know them, you feel like you can see them, you can support them, you can celebrate with them. All of that gets cut off when it's just, I'm good, I'm fine, everything's fine.
Mm-hmm. And we
Yeah.
see ourselves in each other, right? We
Yeah.
see that shared humanity, that common experience that, oh, it's not just me. Yeah, I
Yeah.
like it.
Me too. I feel like
So
this
that's
is
rose, rose, bud, thorn.
rose,
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 thorn, bud. Rose, rose, thorn,
thorn,
bud.
but
And you could actually play around with the order and how many. Maybe you want to do 3 roses. I don't know.
mm,
There's
I
no
did.
set way.
Another rose for me was the lovely cat, Mr. Pickles. I love him so much.
Mm-hmm. And do you notice the difference of just saying, I love him so much. I love my cat, Mr. Pickles, and like really letting your body feel that feeling is different.
Yeah.
And a lot of us already don't give attention to what's good. And we might just barely give attention to what we're grateful for. But we definitely, or my assumption is most people don't pause and let themselves feel the goodness of it.
For sure. Yeah, it's
Right.
rattle off 10 things you're grateful for your gratitude group that you do every morning.
Yeah.
But the
And you haven't felt
feeling
a
of,
single thing.
yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Um, and it's such a waste because, like, I also think we run through and we relive memories all day long. Most of us are just programmed and conditioned to rerun memories that feel challenging. Like, do you rerun memories that feel uplifting?
mm,
And how might that be for your life?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I used to know a woman who was way deep down the Abraham Hicks vortex rabbit hole, if you're
Mhm.
familiar with this. And
I've
I think,
listened to Abraham many times.
yeah, me too. I think there's so many gifts there and also so many ways to bypass everything. So I think this woman I used to know would lie in bed before she woke up and she would just envision and feel the life she wanted to live. And that's such a good practice to do, assuming you're also functioning in the world, which it's easy to avoid if you're just wanting to be in a positive headspace. But giving some conscious energy to that really is a life changing practice, and it'll certainly cause you to feel differently.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Um, and just there's a thought that flew through. I'm going to see if I can catch it on its return. Um, When you were talking about how people run through the 10 things that they're grateful for, it made me think of this. I find often when people say, "Oh, what are you grateful for?" we tend to say the same things. Like they're all sort of similar theme. I have a roof over my head, a food to eat, some of the basics. Not that those aren't things that are things we feel grateful for. The challenge and the invitation, if you have a gratitude practice, if you want to add rose, thorn, bud to a version of a gratitude practice that you bring into your life, is to change up the things that you say as your roses, change up the things that you say as your thorn and your bud, instead of using the ones that are like just really familiar to you. And in that way, we again widen the lens on what is the really like the reality of my life is more than just 3 themes. Right?
Yeah.
The things that are challenging is more than just 1 or 2 things. The things that feel really good is more than 3 things. And there's probably more emerging in your life than you realize.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you. I like
You're
that.
welcome. Yeah. So
Anything
there it
else you
is.
want to say on this before we do our practice?
Just that it's not a practice that has to take a long time. Like I'll do it in the car while I'm driving. I'll just say them out loud to myself. Right. Or like walking down the street. I'm generally not the person that sits at a desk and journals these things out. I'm on the go, or maybe I'm laying on the ground, doing some of my body stuff that I enjoy, and I can run through these things. And if you tend to be someone who journals, or you tend to be someone who thinks these things in your mind, the invitation is also to try speaking it out loud and notice how it feels to hear those statements said out loud.
Yeah, we're all about moving and feeling energy here. There's so many things that I think as a society we tend to give mental energy to. Speaking things out loud, writing them down, moving your body, feeling the feelings gives you a different perspective. So try them all.
Have fun.
Have fun. Okay. And have a moment to feel your bum on the chair. You're closed today with just noticing our bums connected to the chair, noticing your feet on the ground, giving your hands another squeeze. How do you feel in your body right now, Gigi?
I feel an expansiveness in my upper chest. And I feel like a deep sinking feeling with my breath. And I feel the impulse to move my shoulders. Yeah.
Very good.
And I feel happy. I feel happy.
Yay.
Yay.
I love that for you.
I also have a thorn, which is I feel like I bruised a rib or pulled a muscle. And every time I cough, I feel like someone is stabbing me, and that is my thorn. And also, I can feel happy.
Both things at once.
Yeah. 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 Oh, we didn't even talk about both things at once, but both things at once. So powerful.
Yeah, maybe next time.
Yeah. Maybe next time.
Next time. Okay. Well, thank you for being with us. As always, please like, follow, and subscribe. And if anything we've said here today has been helpful for you, please share it with somebody you care about. We'll see you next time.
Bye.